Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us on another episode of Kevin and Milande. So, for today's episode,
Yes.
we're going to be putting a spotlight on Kevin.
No.
Yes, yes. So, for years now, Kevin has had this one particular trait that I've always found to be off, but it's his thing.
Yes.
But I thought it would be fun to talk about.
Okay.
So as long as I've known Kevin, mind you, I met Kevin when I was 18. I'm not going to tell you what my age is now, but
18.
Stop it. 18? I'm 18 still.
18. At heart.
I thought you were going to go in and spill the beans.
Oh, that you're 48? But go ahead. You're good for 48. Go ahead.
So, and it's not like people can't find that information up online anyway.
Exactly.
So I don't even know why I make a big deal.
Right.
But from the time that I've met him, Kevin has never really had friends.
No.
So the only friends, they're not even friends. The only people in his life that he hang around with, even though they're around his age, have been family.
Yes.
Right? Kevin comes from a rather large family. So there's a lot of cousins and nephews that are his age.
Yes.
Because his family was, rather large. And when siblings started having babies, mom was also having babies.
Yes.
And
My mom was, even in her latter day, in her 40s, she still was
having babies.
Yeah. Having babies, yeah.
So some of his closest confidants are nephews. And I remembered questioning him about this when I was younger. And then probably, a few more times throughout the years.
Yeah. Because we all, even with my nephews, we kind of moved
Grew
away
up
from one another, and there's a lot of distance between us. So, and you were like, you don't have. I have always had one friend. Shout out to you, James, and not your husband James, but my friend Jane James.
Oh,
that I grew up with. So I consider him a friend. We check in, talk.
All right,
but we don't hang around one another. So.
Okay, so we're going to edit that out because the purpose of this is that you don't have any friends. You can't shout out one person because then it defeats the topic.
I just told you we don't see one.
No, we're not going to defeat nothing. Yes. Okay. James ain't going to be offended.
No, he's not going to be offended.
So my question for Kevin that I want to ask on camera, and I don't think I've asked you this for years now.
Yes.
Why don't you have any friends?
Because I'm hard to get along with.
That's not true.
I'm very difficult and demanding, and I'm like that leech. No. Man, so I had my first child when I was 20, and I was a dad at 20 years old. I was in the military, and life just seemed to move fast. It really did pick up at a fast pace at that point, and I tried to have like male friends and everything.
Yeah.
On that spectrum, because I never was really around my nephews. We were close. We grew up close. We were like brothers kind of growing up, more than nephew and uncle. Me being their uncles and them being my nephews and some of my cousins. But I tried. It just didn't seem to take because I had to put the kids first. Right? So I couldn't go to the football parties or go to hang out or go to the club or go to, or do all those things that the guys my age were doing.
Right.
So I chose to just, put more of that time
into your kids. Family.
Just the family dynamic and trying to focus on the vision for the family.
Right.
What house we were going to buy, how were we going to pay off this bill or pay this car off, or what were our savings going to look like?
Right.
What college we want the kids to go to, if one of them kind of displayed that.
Right.
It was always that for me. So I didn't really have time for that. Now I did want, like, when I would be at work and have coworkers that were kind of cool, but it just never took, man. It just never.
So you did have a desire for it sometime at times.
Yeah, at times I tried, because you want to fit in and blend in, and like a lot of guys would gravitate towards me, right? They would just, I don't know if I'm cool. But for real, they would always want to get to know me and kind of hang around me.
Because you're that funny kid, the charming joking, one with all the jokes, and
I'm
you're
laughing
laid
and
back.
joking all the time, and they picking my brain, and stuff like that. So I got along well with everybody. But the problem was, I never had the time.
Right.
And I start realizing as I got older that even friendship relationships take work.
Yes.
You have to date your friends almost like you're dating a female sometimes.
Oh my goodness.
Because if you stand them up, or then they're gonna be like, man, hey dog, I tried to get up with you, or they stop inviting you to stuff, or depending on you for stuff.
Right.
Because friendship takes work.
Yeah.
And I couldn't put in that work because my kids needed that work. By that time I was like one kid after another.
So your grand total is how many? Look, you got to count.
I'm telling you. No, 6.
6.
Half a dozen.
Half a
dozen. My mom beat me.
How many did your mom have?
12 natural.
12.
And then 2 extra. I have a adopted sister named Dawn, and then a stepsister named Marietta, and she passed away. But 14 in total that was close, sisters.
So it sounds like you were trying to take after your mom's.
You know what? Me and my twin sister, when we was growing up, we only wanted 2 kids apiece. We both said, no, we gonna have a small family because we came from such a large family. And then time went by, and I forgot how fertile we were. And if I didn't put a stop to it, I have like 32 kids by now.
And with 6 kids, I mean, it goes without saying, where I can see where you're coming from, that you just weren't in a position to put in the time that it takes to be able to maintain a healthy friendship.
Oh yes, because over the phone, people call you, talk to you, stuff like that. But that's cool, but that's not going to be consistent enough to what they
to
need.
Build a good, strong. Oh my goodness, you're speaking the truth right now. I just. You are 1,000% right. You made the decision just not to have any because you didn't want to disappoint anyone. I think today what people, because you hear a lot of girls that are like, I can't have any friends because, I just get along better with the guys, right? I get along better with the guys.
Yeah, I hear that cop out a lot. That's a cop out.
From what have you experienced with the girls in your life saying that?
They have bad behaviors, man. I'm telling you.
Right. They're the ones with the bad behaviors.
Yeah, because I'm very selective. So I don't choose bad friends in the first place. So I'm not going to have those. That's another reason why I didn't have friends, because a lot of times they have bad habits. The people that try to be your friend, they, bad habits on one spectrum of another. So that's one reason why I didn't have friends, because I'm very choosy who I bring around my family.
Right.
But the ones who, did have good habits, and I tried to bring them around. But then you hear men and women say that they don't get along with men. They, they have a lot of female as friends.
Right. I didn't know men said that.
Oh yeah, a lot of men say that, man.
That's my first time hearing that.
Oh my goodness, man! And I'm telling you, I call them out on it because I come from that world, and having all sisters, more predominantly sisters, man, I've seen that a lot. And I'm like, nah, bro, there's no way. I get along with women more than I get along with men. I have a twin sister that I grew up and had a dynamic with my whole life. So of course I get along with women more. That's the first person I learned how to love was my sister. She's like extensions of me.
Right.
But still, that's a cop out, bro.
Right.
I definitely can relate to men more than I can relate to women. So that means that I can build a relationship better with the male than I can a female.
Right.
It's just for me, I've seen women and men abuse that to do the wrong thing. Right.
So. And I love that you used the word cop out, because friendships, I think when people say that, they're not realizing that friendships are real relationships. So the same amount of work that goes into a spousal relationship, it takes the same amount of work for a friendship.
Oh yeah.
You're going to go through some good times, you're going to go through some bad times, but if both of you realize that you are committed to this friendship, you're going to ride the waves of the good and the bad, right? Similar to a marriage.
Yeah, because you're not going to like one another all the time.
Not all the time.
So that's the thing you learn when you're mature.
Not all the time.
You're not going to always like this person.
Right.
Whether it's a spouse, friend, you know what I'm saying? So.
And there will be deal breakers. You know, there is deal breakers, which is, you know, why divorce rates are high. Something was broken that caused one person to not be able to move on from it, right? And as long as you guys understand what those deal breakers are, you know, I can't have a girl, my homegirl, flirting with my husband. That's a deal breaker.
It's all right. You got my permission. You flirt all you want.
So that's a deal breaker. Or, you know, I can't, you know, have someone that talks bad about me behind my back. That's not a real friendship. Those are, you know, deal breakers where, you know, this friendship is toxic, so before it escalates and gets worse and worse and worse, that's a deal breaker for me. So outside of the deal breakers, you're not going to always wake up and love each other. You're not always going to wake up and want to be around each other. I think if people invest the amount of effort that it takes to in your friendships, being considerate, consider the other person's perspective. And sometimes it's not all about what you say, it's how you say.
Oh, yeah.
It's like what you said, talking to someone over the phone. If that's the kind of relationship that you guys have, then you have to be comfortable with, well, if that's all we're doing, talking over the phone, then you got to be comfortable with, you know, our relationship is not going to be as strong as someone that I'm hanging around with more often, as someone that is in my life. They're coming around my family, my friends. You set the standard for your relationship and be okay with that standard when it's being met. You don't give a little and then turn around and ask for the whole world. And all of these characteristics that we're saying are things that go into a spousal relationship, right?
Yeah. And no, I'm gonna leave really quick disclosure. I want to interject. If any of my nephews are watching this, I know you guys are like, but we your friend, huh? So put you out there. We're not friends, bro. We're family. And there's no deal breaker on that. We don't have to be friends, and I don't have to like you every day, but I love you to death. And we'll always work everything out because we're family. So, you know, that blood runs deep. So there's a difference there. So that's why I'm not saying that you guys are my friends. Because I know some of you are going to be like, but I'm your friend, you know. and to be honest, I don't consider you friends. You know?
Right.
I don't consider family friends. Just like with us.
Right.
I don't consider family friends. I think that's a whole different dynamic and a whole different kind of work that you got to put in for that.
Right.
So,
since you brought up friends, then I think it's only fair that I bring up my friends. I have a group of ladies that I am very close with. And I'm very proud of the fact that what connected us, what bonded us is our independency. We're all women who are independent. Woo!
Not strong, but resilient.
Resilient. That's
right.
another good word. Yes,
That's
resilient. Right. And I only, you know, hope and pray that our relationship is the kind of relationship that others can mirror, because having a group of lady friends is almost difficult in our community because women tend to, you don't want to deal with the backstabbing, the issues, the drama. And it's so true. They exist. Yes, they do exist. You just got to be aware, be selective with who you're making friends. And I think as a group, we were very selective because we don't have a lot of we don't have much friends outside of the group. So I think we were selective, and now it was just a matter of putting in the commitment, the time, the effort to see each other, make time for each other in the midst of our crazy lives, which is why you didn't have any friends, because to try to make times is an issue, but to not make time can also cause issues. And then when we're going through bad times, to think of the bigger picture. Is this the deal breaker? And if it's not, let's ride the wave, get through this bad time, and just go back to focusing on loving each other and having a wonderful and healthy friendship.
All right. Well, guys, thank you for joining in. We appreciate your time that you took out to watch this episode. We hope that if you have not already subscribed or liked this episode or any of the other content that we've put out, please do so. We appreciate your comments, good or bad, however you're feeling. Please share. We love to read your comments. We enjoy them both. We don't consider any comment negative. We look at all of it as a positive way because we're here together going through life, healing. Growing. That's right. Healing, growing. It's a beautiful thing. We really enjoy you guys reading what you're writing and what you're saying. Even the trolls. Is that what
yes, the trolls.
Even the trolls.
We welcome them all.
Right,
we do not discriminate.
Well, we're going to wrap this up. Thanks again for joining us at Kevin and Mimi Milande.
Thank you.
God bless.